24 hours, 7 days a week. You can find your favorite program, Law and You, only on Pinnacle TV. Hello, welcome to today's exciting episode of Law and You. My name is Dele Igbinedion. I want to thank all of you who have been reaching out to us on social media, on all of our social media handles, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on our webpage, etc. With your comments, your opinions, and your feelings about the programs that you were putting on and you watched. I want to thank all of you again and again. I say keep it coming in. Now today I want us to look at an interesting topic on the demonstration or the call for revolution by Mr. Sowore recently, his arrest by the State Security Services and his detention for 45 days by the courts. The legal issues surrounding it, this call for revolution, or was it a call for protest, or who is right, who is wrong, who is troubling us, and who wants peace between him and the government. So with me in the studio today to discuss this topic, I've got two very, very learned minds, well read, well informed, and ready to fire. To my right is Barrister Robert Igbinedion, a lawyer, a human rights activist, and someone who has carved a niche in, advocating for the observance of human rights of people. Barrister Robert, welcome to the program.
A good day.
Now, to my left is a law teacher, lecturer at the University of Calabar in that's Cross River State, I think.
Yes.
And constitutional lawyer, Barrister Andrew Enwanta.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, Sowore called for revolution against the government of Nigeria, and he called his organization Revolution Now. That is not tomorrow, not next year, but now. And I think he set a date when he said from that day they will make Nigeria ungovernable or something like that. And they were going to hold a demonstration, but the government preempted it. The State Security Services arrested him, and then they detained him for some days. Subsequently took him to court, and the Federal High Court in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, granted his remand for 45 days, renewable thereafter if necessary. Barrister Robert, what is all this about revolution by Sowore?
Well, revolution, it's a change. It's a change, and Sowore has made it clear even before his election, before the 2019 general election,
Yes.
yeah, on how he uses language and the kind of person he is. He described himself as a digital age person who uses digital language, not analog language. In fact, if in one of his campaigns, I think in Ibadan, when he used the word, he said we have come to disrupt the system. And people were alarmed, like, you have come to disrupt the system, you disrupt Nigeria for us. He said no, that he is a digital person using digital language. It does not necessarily mean disrupt like current talks and going to fight. And the 2019 general election have come and gone, despite the fact that Sowore said, if you Google it, you will see it. I have the video, you can play it right here, that we have come to disrupt the system. I'm sure you didn't see him or any of his AAC members or any of his party members or Take It Back members fighting or breaking down any law all through before and after the 2019 general election. So it is revolution. What is revolution? Revolution, it merely means change. And if this man that's why he has also said we are in a digital age and not in an analog age. And several meanings of words have changed. If somebody actually intends to fight, is it by what he says, or by the guns or weapons you will see with him, or by the crowd of thugs who you will see with him? And even apart from talking about the revolution, even bringing it down to the law or the act under which he was detained, you will find that there is no connection between any of his action or any of his statements with any provisions of that law.
Okay, I'll come back to you, because you are saying he uses words. He uses words with his own meaning. In other words, not general meaning of general understanding of it, but with his own meaning. So when he says revolution, we understand revolution to mean change that is violent. But you are saying he means it in the digital sense of merely talking, but without any action to back it.
No, not merely talking without any action to back it. Words can have a digital meaning.
Without violence, action to back it.
Words can have a digital meaning. For instance, you talk about tablets. I'm not tablets.
Yes.
I'm sure if I talk about tablets, elderly people, and if I go to the leaders of, I say, I have a tablet here. I'm sure the man will say, actually, I'm having headache. I need to drink.
Okay.
I'm having headache. I need a tablet to swallow tablet.
Okay.
But tablet, if you go to a different generation, talk about tablet. Nobody is having headache. Nobody's they want a flat computer which they can use.
So just say it was like an equivocator.
Yes, and
like just someone playing on words.
And if you
harmless.
If you go
was he harmless man?
It's harmless.
No, is he himself harmless? Does he have harmless intentions?
Well, his records are there to show. Have we ever said that Sowore is found in company of somebody with a gun, or he has been found with a gun, or I mean that should be what he should be arrested for. So he was found with a gun. That is what should. In fact, they even owe the nation a duty. They owe us a duty.
Who are they now?
The government, the SSS, the DSS, they owe us a duty, because this man has come. He has not come out from himself. He can be comfortable in any part of the world where he wants to be, but he has come out for the Nigerian populace to say enough is enough.
Okay, so Sowore contested the last presidential election as a presidential candidate of the AAC, which is it Alliance for Action Congress? What is there? Anyway, whatever it is, I'm sure it's a reputable political party. No offense intended. But his performance was abysmal. He got 33,000 in the entire country, not even one local government. And yet, so soon after, he comes up and says revolution. But Barrister Robert says he meant no harm. He meant it in the digital sense. And so what do you think, Barrister Andrew Enwanta?
I think Sowore's foray into politics is one that tends to give his new revolutionary movement the toga of politics.
Okay.
Because when you talk of activism, it's either you are for government or you are against government. Because for him to have come out as a presidential aspirant and he became a candidate of his party and he contested and lost the presidential elections, gives this feeling that his revolution now is not far from his ambition to be president of Nigeria.
Okay.
Because when you talk of investigation, it's unfortunate that he's being kept against the constitutional provisions, but because of the words he uses or the words he once used. Because if you use the word revolution, and there was a photograph they showed of him and Daniel Nnamdi Kanu, whose IPOB has been proscribed.
Okay.
Because even if you look at the Terrorism Prohibition Act, there are provisions that make certain groups which are, as it were, prohibited, unlawful, and any dealings with them, there's this element of conspiracy. Because if you notice, the activities of IPOB has reduced, and the times are not very good. We have these recent killings of members of the Shiites, and you now talk of revolution. The country is boiling. We have the Fulani herdsmen Wahala somewhere in the north. We have the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. I think the way and manner he went about this is revolution now is what most of us find a bit unacceptable, because if you were not a presidential candidate, some of us will not read politics into it.
Okay.
Because when you use the word revolution and you are now fixing a date for a national protest, remember the right to freedom of assembly is not, as it were, without certain limitations.
Okay. So
it's not without certain limitations. Because we have what we call the utilitarian theory of law. Of course, it's a school of jurisprudence. The greatest happiness of the greatest number. If keeping one man will make Nigeria safe, it's better we keep that man. And again, when you look at some words he uses, or he has used previously,
yes.
Oh, you will stop the DSS from functioning. You will make the country ungovernable. These are seditious statements. And of course, the Supreme Court had given a decision in Chike Obi and DPP that in looking at the interests of states, there are certain times where your freedom of expression can be not really
curtailed.
Curtailed, not abrogated, but curtailed. And of course, they cited in that case the 11 communist case, the U.S. Supreme Court decision, where the test of clear and present danger was applied. And that test is very germane in looking at, you have this Shiite crisis, you have the Boko Haram insurgency, then you now use a word, revolution. The government will cease to exist, DSS will cease to exist. I mean, those are seditious language for which the states can keep somebody.
All right.
I frown at this idea of, you now say you want to keep him for 90 days.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I just want to take up an issue you made. You've talked about IPOB. That is the indigenous people of Biafra. That's the one led by Mr. Malam or Mr. Mazin Nikanu. Okay, the one people were going there, they were bowing to him. Some were licking his shoes, and he was blessing them before he had his comeuppance. But that's all right. So that is a proscribed organization. Nandi is a wanted man in Nigeria today, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have the IMN, Islamic Movement of Nigeria, headed by Sheikh Zaki.
Yes.
That has also been proscribed. It's also been declared as a terrorist organization. Less than 1 week after it was declared as a terrorist organization, the same government that sees Sowore as a danger, clear and present danger to be locked up, now brings out Zaki from prison, takes him to the airport, flies him to India, accompanied by Nigerian security operatives. That's what we heard. Accompanied by Nigerian security operatives. And so, don't you think that this gives concern of double treatment? For one, the man is proscribed, his organization is proscribed, he's on the wanted list. For another, as soon as they proscribed his organization, they brought him out of prison, albeit with a high court order, flew him to the airport and flew him to India for medical treatment. Don't you think that's double standard? Evident.
I think I share a slightly different view because remember that this man's bill was granted long ago.
Yes.
But of course the federal government refused to honor it.
Yes.
But now there was need to take him abroad because of the very sensitive nature of his ailment, because he said he had, some, bullets, fragments in his eyes, in his body, and all of that, including that of his wife. The wife's body had fragments of the same bullets.
Okay.
And there was need for them to take them abroad. And of course, they had an arrangement with one Mendeta hospital in India.
Okay.
And of course, it was granted. But again, I think if you say double standards, I agree, because we still have Sambo Dasuki, who has been in incarceration. No court order has been obeyed so far. Even the ECOWAS Community Court gave an order for that man to be released. And I think it is nice and necessary for the federal government to also consider the case of Sambo Dasuki. He's a political prisoner. He didn't threaten fire and brimstone. The issues involved was that he funded Jonathan from security votes.
Okay, which is a criminal.
Of course, which is a criminal offense, and I think it's not a treasonable offense. They've not been able to tell us that what he did is treasonable. Okay. So I think that issue should also be revisited.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, I'll come back to you, Barrister Roberts, on the rights to protests and etc. So we're going to take a short break. Please don't go away. Keep watching Law and You. Thank you. 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can find your favorite program, Law and You, only on Pinnacle TV. Welcome back, Law and You. We're looking at Sowore, the right to protest, right to revolution, etc., etc. Please let us know what you think as the program proceeds. We'll be glad to hear from you. Now, Barrister Robert, you are apparently a proponent of the fundamental rights of Sowore to protest. But the question I want to ask you is, the right to protest, is it the same as the right to call for revolution?
Well, it may be the same right as the right to call for a revolution. When you go out to protest,
yes,
what are you asking for? More often than not, it is for a change. Or even as students, we don't have light before exams. We need light before exams. We don't want the status quo of where we have to go into exams without light on campus and read with lanterns. We need light on campus so that we can be able to measure up to a standard of our mates both within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. You come out to protest.
Yes.
Well, what are you asking for? A change.
Yes.
Now,
we want improved conditions.
Improved conditions.
Not necessarily a change.
Okay.
Improved conditions.
Yeah.
Well, a change of from no water to more water.
Okay. Now,
but you will not necessarily be asking for the school to be, for there to be revolution. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. Now, if you were to bring it down to the present day Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, would you just be asking for improved conditions?
Why not?
Yes, you can't ask for improved conditions, but from where we are to where we want to be,
yes,
would it be described as improved condition, or it be described as a change? Because is any of them ready in the first place to improve your condition? And even if that condition were improved, would it not be like a 360 ton? Would it not be a 360 ton? I give an instance.
Yes.
Go out, or just tune the news, tune the news, or Google Nigerian Army. What do you see? What do you see? Google Nigerian Police. What do you see?
I can tell you, if you Google Nigerian Army,
yes,
you see that they are defending our territorial integrity, and they are doing it bravely. If you Google the police,
yes,
the best crime fighting organization in the whole of West Africa or Africa.
I may not agree with you. I think the viewers can go ahead, Google Nigerian Army. What you will see is that Nigerian Army has murdered 3 policemen in Taraba. Nigerian Army has beaten. In fact, you will see all sorts of, as if their major function now, yes, is to look for one arm or the other of Nigerian, or one person, or Nigerian Army has raped a student going to school to study. They've stopped that. That is what you will see. Or Google and say, okay, I want to Google Nigerian police. What will you see? What will you see? That Nigerian police have. In fact, if you even does an average policeman even know his function anymore? As far as the constitution and the police act is concerned, does an average Nigerian army know its function anymore? As far as the Nigerian, because what do they perform? Okay, Google their video. What do you see? Even if you were to.
So are those the things that Sowore wanted to come to address by its revolution? Could its revolution in Lagos have addressed the Nigerian army in Abuja? Or I'm confused.
Well, he has said it that the system is not working, and the system needs to have a 360 U-turn. And that, to me, is actually a constitutional right.
Okay, I'll come back to you as to the qualifications of Sowore to actually engineer this change or 360 degrees turn which he advocates. But I want to right to protest. I mean, the man was merely protesting. Really, he wasn't carrying a nuclear weapon. He wasn't carrying a gun. They went to arrest him. They didn't find him in the company of shady elements. They've never seen him with a pistol or even a knife. So, is it just a loud talker? Somebody who just wants to let off steam? Are they not like, killing an ant with a bazooka?
While we were talking,
yes,
something just flashed in my mind.
Okay.
And that was the words of Shakespeare in Macbeth.
Okay.
He said, "There is no art to find the mind's expression on the face,
no
or mind's construction on the face."
Yes.
So for me, if Sowore has such intentions,
yes,
it is not intentions that can just, for him to have related with Nnamdi Kanu, and there was a photograph to show that yes, there was such a relationship. Haven't made such statements, especially when you now make very strong words in the media, in the social media, that the DSS, with this revolution, you will make the DSS to cease to exist. I mean, this is a very important organ of the state, and because of its political background, because when you talk of the crime of aggression, there must be some form of political connotation. Remember in Côte d'Ivoire, the crisis they had, it was a pre- and post-election crisis, especially when, for those who are aggrieved like Atiku, went to the tribunal. So if you didn't...
So talking about the Côte d'Ivoire, is it the one where Laurent Gbagbo was arrested and subsequently charged to before the International Criminal Court?
Even his wife.
International Criminal Court. But they've since been discharged and acquitted.
The African factor of not providing, not really the Nigerian factor now, the African factor of not providing reliable evidence.
No evidence.
Witnesses and what have you. So for me, I think at this point, Sowore's case is very unfortunate. Do you know why I say it's unfortunate?
I don't know why. Tell me.
His language.
His language.
Seditious language. He didn't have good handlers.
Okay.
When he was using those words, he didn't measure up with what was expected from somebody who is a human rights activist. Gandhi went into all kinds of protests.
Yes, he was.
But his language was very careful. His choice of words. You don't talk of revolution and you now say you want to mobilize a national. If you really believe in what you are saying, your ideas, you can propagate these ideas without using strong words, which are not seditious.
Okay, let me just ask, could it be that he was inspired by the, what is it called? Is it the Arab Spring Revolution, where people gathered and then they protested and the government came down, and the Hong Kong example where they are protesting against China and all that. So okay, you said that ultimately, does it boil down to mere wrong use of language and not actually a security threat against Nigeria?
I think the Nigerian government, if they must try him, should try him for sedition. Because if we talk of revolution, the other side is treasonable felony.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Whatever he may have said was just an attempt. Some persons were arrested, were granted bail.
For lawful assembly. And there were also people that were with him.
If really he wanted a revolution, it is not words that make revolution.
Okay.
Revolution is a process.
It's a process.
You can start with a hunger strike. If he was on a hunger strike, would anybody have arrested him?
No. But it would have drawn...
You can use words without expressing those words in writing. That said, okay, look at the Arab Spring. The guy that did self-immolation. Burnt himself because there was something he didn't just like in society. The visual image of that triggered the people. If you talk of revolution, that is revolution. And before you know it, the thing from Tunisia moved to other parts of, even up to Africa. Gaddafi was affected by it. In Libya. So that is a revolution. Not when you make seditions like, okay, at the end of the day, what has he achieved?
All right, we'll come back to that. Now, Barrister Robert, is Sowore qualified in any way? By qualified, I mean looking at his antecedents. Does he have the qualification to lead a revolution in Nigeria?
Yes, he has the qualification to lead a revolution in Nigeria. He has proved it in one or two areas of his endeavors.
He has recently been expelled by his party, the AAC.
Well. Before we come to the AAC, let us talk about other of his endeavors.
Okay.
Yes, because he's presently in detention, so anybody can come out and issue any statement. Although I'm not a member of the party, but I know that he's in detention. But when he comes out, or if he comes out, or when they put their act together, they will know what to do.
Okay.
Now, but on the issue of whether he's qualified. For instance, he started, after working for one or two online press houses, he started the Sahara Reporters, and Sahara Reporters have been called the disruptor. Been called the disruptor in the media space.
Okay.
Yes, been called a disruptor in media space and recognized even many times.
Yes.
Many times when President Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria. At the time, the president came out and said, well, he was in Aso Rock. His younger brother died in Aso Rock. It was two Sahara reporters that he found out. You know, that is
so
just
he was a good journalist.
That is just to know to what extent they could penetrate to bring information out to the people, okay. And even to the president himself, who was in Aso Rock,
okay.
who his brother died in Aso Rock, in an hospital in Aso Rock, I think, yes. An hospital in Aso Rock there, and it was Sahara reporters who informed him. Now, that is journalism, that is investigation, that is deeping, you know, dig
at its
peak and bringing it out with something that you rate as an international standard, because
yes.
What actually happens in Nigeria, anything that happens in Nigeria, we have to wait for international, either CNN or whoever, to announce it, because no Nigerian newspaper will dare or Nigerian will dare announce it. I personally have done, you know, matters where, you know, taking around all Nigerian newspapers, none of them, the Nigerian news media, none of them dare to look into it, you know, because of the one condition or the other. But foreign, you know, news, they were able to
take it up.
So
okay.
Yes, that is the point. So if he has been able to, and talk about his flow, traffic flow, readership around the world, you know, with little or no staff, compared to very mighty other organizations.
So you are saying because he was a good journalist, he can report stories, therefore he can lead a revolution.
He
understands the Nigerian society.
No, the revolution I'm talking about is that change. Now, what is the revolution in the media space, for instance? Making news available to the people. It's not about going to catch the head of NAN and you now become the head of NAN. No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Or going to catch the head of another news again, maybe this day and now you become. No, it is you reaching the people, reaching the world with news, Nigerian news, quality, truthful Nigerian news from deep down. In such a way that before those ones will hold their board meeting, you know, discover whether it's part of their sponsor, who the news is against or not. The news is getting to the people. So that is disruption. So when he used the word disruption, I use the word disruption. Not only going to a newspaper stand and scattering all their newspapers. That is not disruption. So also revolution. Now, if you were to talk about what actually happened on the ground,
yes,
what happened on the ground? Reps interlocutor. Did you not look at the video? Did you see professionalism on the part of Nigerian police? And then in any of the places they collided or they had issues with the protesters. Did you not see them using AK-47 assault rifle, even anti-tank, anti-gun, anti-aircraft gun? You know, facing and somebody's carrying an anti-aircraft gun and going to arrest somebody. You know what failure of information? Sorry, what failure? What failure of information? Were you expecting them to come out with gun? That you should come out with gun? What failure of information? I think somebody should take responsibility and resign. What failure? Okay, now people come out, not one of them carrying even a stick, and you come out with anti-tank
missile.
Anti-tank missile to face them. You come out with AK-47 assault rifle to confront them. You come out with what failure?
Well,
failure?
They may have been worried that when this man who has called for revolution,
yes,
his people may actually, you know, I mean, what do you have to say about that? Don't you, that's, I mean, yes, he painted an interesting picture, if you ask me.
Yes.
That you had these unarmed young protesters, nicely dressed, and you know, singing solidarity songs. And then you had on the other side these battalions of policemen, soldiers, security service officials, all, you know, armed with all this fearsome weaponry, as you mentioned. I mean, don't you think it was really an overkill, an overreaction? What are your comments?
It's an overkill, but you know one irony of what we are looking at here is this same Sowore was with the opposition. Remember in 2015 when they were talking of protests?
Yes, it was with President Buhari and Buhari and his people.
Was the main opposition online platform.
Yes, against
but you know, the beauty of it is that they were once bedfellows.
Yes.
But at some point their interests bifurcated. He now wanted to be president. they talked about change. Remember, they came with this mantra of change.
Yes.
Change. Of course, the word revolution is about change, regime change, and all of that.
Yes.
But they said they are going to the next level from change. He now chose revolution now. But because they are bedfellows, not straight bedfellows, they are afraid that this man knows our antics. He knows everything about us.
Yes.
He's not romancing Namdekano, who believes that he's a Jewish person. He wants to introduce Judaism into Nigeria. I mean, these people, I wonder, don't they have the fear of God? Because you can bring change by your action, your conduct. People now, they found Namdekano as, a religious leader, no longer having that sense of, as a patriot, I can join forces with others. We have an existing system. We've never had a system that is Jewish in Nigeria. Why not bring this new? Don't we have enough religions in Nigeria? Okay. For you to now try to propagate a new idea. The Shite man does not believe in normal regular governments. He believes that his authority, the authority to which he panders to, is in Iran. I mean,
that's the belief of the Shiite.
Of the Shiite leader. I mean, El-Zazaki does not see Buhari as his president.
Oh.
And that is why it's quite unfortunate that I haven't gone to India and he's now trying to give new magisterial conditions. Coming to Nigeria, has that solved the problem? I mean, at this stage, we should start thinking of how can we build this country? I mean, nationhood should be the driving philosophy of whatever protests. The idea of now using guns against protesters by the Nigerian government is not only unconstitutional, it's not only inhuman, but the Nigerian government at some point should realize that it is these same people that have brought them into government. It is our votes that has made whoever has become president, whether by hook or by crook, president. So the time has come for us to give, law enforcement a human face. And you now see this interagency conflict of military killing police probing military. I mean, if the security people are this disorganized, it means that the policy of this government, which ought to be the security and the welfare of the people, should be the primary purpose of government. There's a misdirection in policy.
Now, Sowore and the right to protest. A judge has now ordered his detention for 45 days. Sure, you should be happy. You are a lawyer. A judge has decided.
Well,
is that legal or illegal?
The judiciary is the last hope of the common man.
Yes.
The judiciary's responsibility is, especially in line with Chapter 4 of the Constitution, is to protect the rights provided for therein. So Chapter 4 of the Constitution, right to protest, right to inhuman and degrading treatment, right to, name them.
Yes.
Name them. Now, he has been arrested and they have cried or ran after a few days of arrest, ran to the court, with all sorts of stories. But I believe that the court should have put them to a better task. To say, why do you arrest somebody, bring him here without having done your job? You are a clandestine organization. This man is not new to you. For how long have you been following him up? I mean, after all, it was an ex parte application. For how long have you been following him up? For how long have you been?
So they should have brought some evidence to substantiate
this detention. And by now, some of those evidence should have been in the public domain for the ordinary Nigerians to know and understand. Or else, they say, what is justice? Justice is as it is seen by the common man who has not somebody is just arrested, detained, order of court, and another order cementing the detention. I think that the judiciary must, as a necessity, learn to stand, not to become a tool in the hands of politicians, to stand up against no matter the temptation, no matter the level of intimidation, to protect the rights enshrined in the Constitution, which is right to protest.
So you do not really agree with that decision? You don't think it was constitutional? I don't think it's fair?
I believe that for the court to have made that order,
yes, there
should and must be reasons which by now should have been in the domain of the public, other than the fact that they want to do an investigation.
Well, what do you think? Last words. The man said the court has given 45 days for the SSS being the State Security Service of Nigeria to investigate, and more particularly, they said they wanted to watch some videos of Sowore in order to build a case against him. Legal or not?
I don't think some of these laws that came after the 1999 Constitution was enacted as it were constitutionally, contrived. Because the situation where the Constitution says you must bring somebody before a court of law within 24 hours, and if there's no court within a particular radius within 48 hours, of course they didn't follow that provision.
No, they didn't follow it.
They just had to using the safeguards they have under the Terrorism Prevention Act, Prohibition Prevention Act, and to a very large extent, the question is, what do you need to keep him for 90 days if you have allegations against him? Why not just charge him? He goes through the process of, why would you be investigating a matter which you claim is a crime? You need 45 days. What are you now keeping him for? If you have not done the investigation.
So they ought to have investigated before arrest.
Before arrest. You investigate. Okay, you have been monitoring him.
Yes.
You spent resources monitoring him. Then you now need to keep him for another 90 days. The courts, for reasons not known to law, now granted them 45 days. You don't need, because he has a right to bail.
Has a right to bail.
He has a right to bail.
Well,
which is a constitutional right, a very fundamental one at that.
Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this segment of this discussion on Sowore and the right to protest, whether it was right, whether it was wrong. I want to thank you for coming, Barrister Andrew Enwanta, law teacher and constitutional lawyer.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Barrister Robert, lawyer and human rights activist. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers, that's how it's been on this episode of Law and You. Keep a date with us on future episodes and keep your comments coming in. Bye-bye. 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can find your favorite program, Law and You, only on Pinnacle TV.